YouTube? Topaz Yates back for another requested review, and this one is to Just Cause, soundtrack to Denzel. And my brother, I give you mad points for difficulty and creativity here, because the overall concept of this project, in which we don't get very many concept projects out there all like that, but what you're doing is you're looking at some iconic roles that Denzel has played in the past and such, man, and you're giving your own soundtrack to his particular character. Now, the reason why I say I give you points for difficulty, because you give yourself very little wiggle room, man. I mean, everybody have seen the vast majority of these movies, man, and actually love these movies, so therefore a lot of people whose favorite movie you happen to be making a song about, they'll probably look at your joint like, okay, I like the creativity, I like what you're doing, but yet overall you didn't do my favorite movie justice. When you apply your own music to what people feel as though is some of their favorite stuff to watch, man, then ultimately you open yourself to a lot of criticism there, dude, if you do not do it on the highest level possible. So therefore, every single one of these songs needed to be a top-notch production. But what I definitely do like about this concept, man, is that you can definitely spin off of it and do much more with it, because you not only can do Denzel, you can do other acts and such as well, like say Samuel L. Jackson for the next one, or you can go ahead and get some of these movies that you didn't include in this go round, in which a lot of people are probably talking to you like, how could you have forgotten these movies to begin with? But in the end, I understand you can only have but so many tracks on the project. But for the next one, you can do American Gangster, you can do Inside Man, and Malcolm X. That's a pretty big one. But let's break down these songs and such, man, because I really like the way that you did it. Like, you are more focused on telling the stories of these individual characters the most, but yet you take these opportunities to slide in some dope punchlines as well to show that you have these skills. Like that Desperado track where you're channeling the Magnificent Seven, where Denzel is ultimately like a gunman and such out there, man. You're using that whole premise to throw in some bars in there, saying how you just gonna let it ring out, like you gonna call that person back. Like, that was a dope punchline to fit into that whole theme there. You apply that same thing to that Save Me, which is your track about John Q, which for those of you who didn't see that movie, it's about a father trying to save his son because he got screwed over through healthcare and such, dude. And a side note, that joint still applies to this day, because even though Obamacare is in there, it didn't cover a lot of things, and then on top of it, with Trump going in there, he's going to dismantle it all the way just based off of racism, but that's a whole nother story. But you take that concept as an opportunity to throw in some punchlines, man, like saying how healthcare is mad strange, like Tech 9, like that was pretty cool. And then you do the same thing for that He Got Game, based off the movie He Got Game. For those of you who haven't seen it, that's when Denzel, an incarcerated father, has to mend the fences with his bitter son and such. And his son happens to be a top basketball recruit trying to get recruited to the actual jail in which Denzel is stationed. And they try to give him the benefit of, you might get off early if you can get your son to come to this program. But you use that concept as an opportunity to throw in some punchlines that's basketball related and such, saying I might just cross over like a Drake song, or dish the assist like State Farm. Like, that was pretty solid. But another thing that I liked about that is, as you threw in a feature on that, man, the feature stayed on point with the concept, in which that's more difficult to do than what most people think, especially when you see Rick Ross out there being off topic every time he's featured on anything. But that's really the main thing that I like, is how true you are staying to these concepts. And you see that especially with that Love the Blues and such, in which that's more on the Mo Better Blues movie. But sadly, that's where you get into a little bit of trouble, because of course you gotta have a blues type production if you're going to do a song based off of Mo Better Blues. But I feel as though that blues production wears down that track, and that's why I was kind of happy to hear you switch it off at the end, because at the end it got cool, but yet it was off the whole concept. And that's honestly another reason why this is a super difficult project to do, because when you look at blues in general, man, yes, a bunch of people have taken it and made it into quality hip-hop music and such for the times, but yet for the vast majority, man, people go to soul. But if we're gonna give you props for that joint, man, we kind of gotta take away props from that Alonzo track, which is a joint off of Training Day. And the main reason why I gotta take away props from that one, man, is because that production sounds like something that DJ Premier would do. But yet, if you watch that movie, it's based in LA. LA gangs, LA crimes, all of that. So it shouldn't have been DJ Premier. Should have sounded more like DJ Quick. But my favorite songs off this project, man, would be that For the Glory, which for those of you who haven't seen the Glory movie, man, that's pretty much about Denzel playing a runaway slave from the youth, and then as he grew in age, man, he fought for the Union in the Civil War, but yet he had to realize that there's still racism and stuff within that. Real talk that I've talked about before in the past. On a side note, man, neither the North or the South actually wanted to alleviate slavery and all that, dude. Like, people gotta know the history. But overall, from the production and how you pieced it together to the lyricism, man, overall, one of the best songs off this project. And then I like that I Need, even though I disagree with you on your point of view on this one, man, because what you're ultimately talking about, because this is a bonus track, you're going away from the whole Denzel concept. But what you're ultimately talking about here is that we as a people individually are slaves to our own possessions, man, so therefore we honestly don't get up to try to make change here. Ultimately, people are just way too busy with their lives in order to rebel against society because of how negatively we are being portrayed and being done out here. But honestly, I just can't get with that, man, because if you look at what's happening out there right now, man, a whole bunch of these white people and all that are out there marching and trying to do all of this and trying to initiate change. You can't tell me that they aren't busy in their daily lives in order to do something. What you are ultimately doing is feeding into the excuses that people tend to make because they don't want to be out there putting in work anyway. But for the most part, man, we're dealing with scared Negroes, man. People who wouldn't go up against white supremacy if they absolutely had to. But I love that production. I love those features, and overall solid joint right there. Now, you are a solid MC, man, but you have one core fundamental issue that you need to resolve in order for you to reach the top levels and such, man, as far as being a quality rapper. And that main core fundamental, man, is mastering your delivery. And a lot of people mistake it like delivery and flow. See, flow is rapping specifically on point with the beat, in which you do that excellently, man, while delivery is saying it with that emotion, is saying it properly, is saying it the way it needs to be said to garner interest. Now, don't get me wrong, you're not bad at that, but yet you're not excelling at it either. See, here's the thing, man, with your delivery as it is, you have to really sit down and focus and listen to what you're saying and realize, okay, he's sick, he's saying a lot of really good things, man, but yet for people who have mastered the delivery, man, you can just sit down and you don't even have to pay attention to what they're saying. You can hear it and say, okay, I know they're sick, without even hearing anything that they're saying. So when I sit down and break down these songs and these lyrics, man, I'm gonna realize, okay, how dope that individual is, but he captivates you so much just based off of how he sounds. Now, how you master your delivery, it starts from ground zero. It starts with the lyrics. First, when you write your lyrics, man, you got to memorize them backwards and forward, man, to the point that you can hop in the booth and spit them in one take every time. So once you got your lyrics mastered like that, man, you can go in and start playing with the way that you're saying it, man. Put more emphasis on certain words, slang certain words. Do it all your own unique way. And the more you experiment with it, the more confident you will become, man, the better your delivery will be, to the point that you will find your own unique formula that will naturally captivate anybody listening who's not even paying attention to your lyrics, but yet it'll make them listen to it multiple times. But besides mastering your delivery, you gotta also understand that right now, artists out there are putting out far less quality material than what this actually was, man. So you definitely need to be pushing this one heavy. You need to seek out and find your own individual fan base, man, and push this joint because it is rather good. But everybody, go ahead and peep out this project, man. I'm putting a link to it in the description below, and go ahead and seek him out and send him some actual messages to tell him how you feel he can improve. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can follow me at Twitter up there, and you can go to downloadpads.com, that's down there, to read today's article.